Good evening to everybody. Of course, this is Mr. Cage on the audio live. Our title for the night is How to Motivate an Unmotivated Child to Achieve Excellence, Academic Excellence, and Become Successful. Miss Love, what's up? Good evening to you. Excuse me. We want to see what thoughts are out there. Thank God He has given us a whole compilation of thoughts and experience concerning this topic. So we'll see who jumps on. Of course, I'll invite some people into the experience. It's a shift taking place to assist parents. I see you, Slody. It's a shift taking place to shift parents. We're working with young people. That's always our niche and what we'll do. But it's come to my awareness. Sometimes you know something, and for whatever reason, you don't move in it as you should, myself included. And we got to shift into helping parents. Because when we train with young people and teach them and mentor them, if they go back into the environment and the environment is the same, then what's being taught at home is not being reinforced. So this is going to be a key as we put together all these thoughts and conversations centered around motivating the unmotivated child, helping them achieve academic excellence and become successful. All these thoughts, putting together a nice course for parents that want to get involved. We may talk about that in a sec, but I want to get your thoughts on how to motivate from your perspective. My first question would be, what have you seen as far as not only your kids, because our kids are not motivated all the time. They're not. We just need to be honest with that. We're awesome parents. Everybody that's on this live and everybody or some people that you know that you're connected to are awesome parents. But our kids are not always motivated, y'all. We just got to be truthful with that. And also, if I would add to this, I see Miss Joubert. Thank you for jumping on this evening, Miss Joubert and Casey as well, and Dewana and Mr. Stokes. As parents, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but it's the truth. Parents alone don't have the ability to equip their children in totality, overall, giving them all the tools. That's why the cliche is it takes a village to raise a child, because there are experiences that Ms. Joubert has that I don't have that can add to my child's life. There are experiences that Dewana has, Miss Love has, Mr. Stokes, Miss Robertson. We all have experience to add to a teen or adolescent's life. So no one parent or two parents can fully equip their child. I wonder how y'all feel about that. If you want to give me some feedback, please do. I want to know your thoughts. Because I've been involved in those situations. I've been involved in situations where we had a person in our program and was taken out of the program because one of the parents shared with another parent that their child did not need to be in a mentoring program because that child was living with one of the parents. And that's not true. I never had the opportunity to talk with the parent about it, but I know that's not truth because of the circumstances pending. But also, I understand that it's not set. The game is not set up that way. The game is not set up that way. I'm looking for some feedback on this topic and what your thoughts are. A lot of people on this live have kids. You have children. My question to you is, how do you motivate your child when they are not motivated? And the end result of this motivation in this context of conversation is academic excellence and becoming successful. So I want to really address the academic excellence and then the becoming successful. That'll come in the ladder if we address it today, which we could, but I really want to know. We wave to everybody. Y'all don't be shy. Go ahead and jump on and share. And I'll talk about some truth that I know. Just so you all can be aware, because parents have a great responsibility. And I will serve as a bridge between the parents and the teachers and the kids. I'll serve as a bridge between both. Anybody got any thoughts? Let me know if you're there. I don't know who's on. I see a number, but I don't know who's on this audio live. Let me know if you're there. Let me know how many kids you have. Let me engage you all. How many kids that you have, and are they boys, girls, and what are their ages? Thank you for the thumbs up. I don't know who did that, but thank you for that. Let me know how many kids you have, their ages, and if they are in school. All right, I'll give y'all a couple seconds. If you decide to engage, because this is important, and as I wait on the responses, I thought that I would share with the group is that motivating. And I shared this with Mr. Krim today. Just a thought that came to my mind. Motivating a child is a case-by-case scenario. And the reason why I make that statement is because everybody's situation is different. No one person, when I say person, I mean adolescent or teen, no one child or student situation is exactly the same. However, there are similar principles and methods and strategies that can be utilized to motivate them. All right, that's one of my first statements as I wait on you all if you're gonna share that no child, young person, adolescent situation is the same. Their situation is not the same. However, there are the same methods and principles that can be used to motivate them in order for them to achieve academic excellence and become successful. I'm just inviting all my people on here. Y'all got to get into them. We're a little dry. It's okay. Let's go. We invite some people. Let's see. Don't want to invite anyone else. And all these people have kids, or either you're an educator, or either you and I are in a relationship of some sort. So I just want to see where y'all at. What's your thoughts concerning this topic? Let me see. I'll stop here. Let me see. Throw Amy in there. See Ernest, see if I can get him come out and play tonight on the live. Hey, Miss Brown. I got Miss Brown on, Miss Johnson, Miss Jones, Mr. Albertus, Miss Joe Bear, Miss Robinson, Miss Williams, Mr. Stokes, and Miss Love. Anybody got any thoughts they would like to share? What's up, Keith? Keith, give me some insight from your perspective as a young person. What helps you stay motivated to achieve your goals? What would you say? This is a super important conversation, y'all. And I say that because, and Keith knows this, we recently had a former Joliet Job Corps student get murdered last week. And, he was close to us. So these type of conversations concerning youth are very, very important. All right, very, very important. So I'll go into a couple of thoughts to share with you all. I don't have anything structured. I'm just going off my experience, my recent observation, and my recent study, whether it be just reading or just observation and just, learning more about our young people and how they function. I think when I think about motivating a young person, there are two. I'm gonna release some keys to y'all so we can understand. And this is not anything. When we begin to solicit parents to be involved in the course, which is coming very soon, some of this information that I'm gonna give you is not gonna be on there because it's gonna be tailored to the parents. Some may be more intrusive, some may be, surface. But there are two types of motivation. I need somebody to type this just for engagement purposes. There are at least two types of motivations. No, three. I apologize. There are at least three types of motivation. All right. The first one I want someone to type is you have external motivation. External. Somebody type that for me, please. I need some help. Your teacher needs some assistance. There's external motivation. And then you have internal motivation. External motivation is, of course, when a young person is doing something to get. They may be able to physically see the reward, and then the reward influences their actions. Then you have internal. So the external is EXTERNAL, and then the internal is INTERNAL. The internal is on the inside. When a young person is being taught in concert with character traits. For example, what we use at Divine Works E&T is sacrifice, selflessness, cooperation, honesty, or integrity. When a young person is given a task, and for example, if I ask a student to, sometimes if I can't leave the classroom, I ask a student to put some water in my water bottle, or whatever, or something that I'm asking them to do, or they may do something pleasant and I may reward them at the school with a positive behavior ticket, which allows them to be put in a drawing for a prize. But that's the external part of it. Then I may connect it and say that was what you did made me think about a person that had compassion for somebody, because compassion is something that's internal. All right. You see an external witness of somebody that's compassionate based on what they do when the act is selfless. So you have the external. Sometimes we merely motivate our kids from external. I remember I was in a classroom way back in my Job Corps days, and we were visiting a Job Corps center in Indiana, and the teacher, who was a male, was rewarding the kids with candy every time they got an answer right. That's external motivation. All right, so I'm trying to bring clarity. Internal motivation is based on what we build on the inside of the person. For example, if a student does something admirable, if they find somebody's wallet and they bring it to me, and I tell them, good job, affirming them, and I'm connecting my affirmation to something internal. That's awesome integrity. That's going to take you very, very far in your life. That's internal motivation. Our motivation for doing is connected to our identity. We're doing something because we know that it's right, that it's acceptable per culture under the umbrella of character. And then you have eternal motivation. Eternal motivation is spelled ETERNAL. Eternal motivation. So you have external motivation, you have internal motivation, and the highest level is eternal motivation, or eternal, which is spelled, if Ms. Johnson, if you're spelling this out for me, it's ETERNAL, motivation. All right, woman of God, I see you, Miss Laura. So we motivate the unmotivated. All right, you can use external, internal, and eternal. You want to use a combination of both. This is very, very prevalent. All right, this going to help us out. Now, I can't give you all the methods and strategies on one live, but I'll give you enough to work with. And then I want to get some parents to see if they're interested in getting in this online course. All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson. So you got the lowest level is external. The next level is internal, and the highest level is eternal. The thing about external motivation is that leaves a young person subject to their circumstances. So they do to get, which really, on an immature level, it cultivates selfishness. The internal aspect is awesome because it's connected to character. You know, character meaning what's acceptable standards of what's right and what's wrong per the culture that the young person finds themselves in. The eternal motivation is connected to their God-given identity. All right? It's legacy. Internal can be legacy as well, but eternal is legacy driven. That means that my motivation for doing is connected to who I am in God. Bam. If we can really grasp that and use a combination of all three, then the lack of motivation that we would see in our homes, communities, and educational systems would be minimal. It would be minimal. Because if I give you an example, as far as from an academic standpoint, we will never witness a young student, male or female, not go through a process of boredom in a classroom. It won't happen. Because we as humans, we're not interested in everything. That means that some boredom is going to seep in. But when you function, or when we teach our kids to function from an eternal motivation, they will experience boredom because every topic and every subject is not of great interest to them. However, they'll be able to overcome the boredom because they will understand that what they're being taught and who's teaching them and all the logistics and the process connected to a classroom environment is sowing into them eternally connected to their God-given purpose and destiny. Questions. That equates to a young person achieving academic excellence, grade point averages, honor roll, high honor roll, so on and so forth. The external and the internal motivation will wear thin when we're met with challenges in life. But the challenges in life that knock at my door will be sideswiped when I understand who I am and who God called me to be. Oh yeah. All right. So everybody understanding this? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. Give me a question mark if I'm not articulating or communicating this clearly. Somebody gave a heart. I don't know who that was. Who was that? Thank you, Dewana. I'm gonna give this to you on a practical level, because everybody that's on this live either is coming in contact with a young person at home or a young person in their community, or you may work in a school, you may go to a church. It is important. It is important. And before I give you these last couple tidbits, I want to open you up and tell you this, that most of us on this live, we're at the minimum age of at least 35, right? Therefore, we have to understand what it means to be these young people's ages. I want to challenge you to think back when you were 15, 16, 17, 13. Never set an expectation on a young person that's unrealistic. Meaning this, when I'm working in a school and I go into a school, hey, Mr. Goberville, when I go into a school, I expect young people to act out, because everybody desires and wants attentions. I don't expect for them to follow the rules set or the expectations set in a classroom to the T. That is unrealistic, because our responsibility as educators is to teach content, but it's also our responsibility to teach character. Educators have a great responsibility, parents as well, but I'm speaking specifically on educators. And if you can relate this to your experience, and when I say educators, I mean in a school system, but we're also educators in life. So let me generalize and say educators in life, that we should not put unrealistic expectations on the young people, because we're setting their lives to teach them and to learn from them as well. The expectations that I set on specific young people is because I have taught and mentored them to that level of understanding or to that stage of maturity in their life. Therefore, I have the ability to hold them to certain expectations because I've taught them, and I can see that they have experienced mastery in the area of what I've taught them, because I may talk with them in a conversation and I may be hitting a specific topic or subject that I've taught them on in conversation and demonstration. When they give me a real life example and let me know that the decision that they made complemented the characteristic trait, the topic, or the subject that I taught them on, that's how I know that they know. That's how I can hold them accountable. I know that was a lot, but it's true. So in summary, let's get away from trying to hold kids, young people, to expectations that we haven't taught them to live up to. I can't expect a young person to do something if I don't know them. If I don't know them, then I have to put myself in a perspective or in a mindset as though I don't know them. I don't know what you're capable of. So so when I come in the classroom, it's just general. I can pick out different behaviors by how people responding and different things that I'm hearing in my spirit. But all in all, it'll save us a whole lot of time and stress trying to hold people to expectations that they haven't been taught to live up to. All right, hardcore example, because the examples connect to the wisdom, which gives us credibility. That I have a new protege, and he's a young man, and he gears and warrants a lot of attention. And I noticed that he was lazy. And when I say he was lazy, I don't mean it in a mean manner. I mean that his perception of who he is equates to him reflecting behavior that's lazy. And I noticed a couple of things about him. And one thing that I noticed, in addition to his laziness, he likes to complain. And all this is a form of poverty, poverty mindset, whatever the upbringing was. But I noticed he complained a lot and he wants people to do things for him, but he doesn't want to take responsibility to do things for himself that he's capable of doing. And what I told him in the class today was that I feel as though you're lazy. You need to take your own work to the basket and put it in there. And I told him that our goal, OUR, is to lessen your complaints and increase your productivity. I told him that, he understood, and then when he left the classroom, I said it to him again. I'm speaking to his identity. I'm speaking to that's going to be internal motivation for him. But then as time wears on and I begin to do practical things with him, I'm going to use external motivation as far as rewards, external rewards, and internal motivation, internal and intrinsic rewards. So I will highlight his character that he demonstrates in a situation. If he comes to class on time, I'll recognize that. Good job. You came to class on time. Verbally affirming him being on time. Then I'll connect it to integrity. That lets me know that your integrity is growing, because it's not what you do when people are looking, but it's what you do when people are not looking, which affirms your integrity. Those two combinations will end up speaking to his eternal destiny that God called him to be. All right. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Gorville. All right. So once I understand, like if God shows me where his life is going, I'll begin to speak to that. And just to give you a safe way to do it when you in a school system is you don't say thus says the Lord. You don't give a scripture, because that's not a safe place. Normally what I do is, if God quickened my heart to say something to somebody and I can see their career path unfolding, I will say, I can see you A, B, and C. I'm speaking into his identity right then and there. All right. I'm speaking to that. That's eternal motivation connected to who God has called him to be. So when I'm speaking to that, then it's taking him to a whole other place. It's spiritual. All right. Thank you, Willie. All right. So that'll help us. That's just like a small tidbit of what takes place if I'm involved in a young person, or if us as an organization is involved with young people. That's a small tidbit. Is many more strategies. It gets very deep when you are helping young people internalize positive behavior in order to keep them motivated and achieve academic excellence and become successful in life. And if I were to give you one last highlight, is if there are goals set for a young person, you have to be all in. You have to be all in, because they don't have the ability to achieve those goals themselves, because the goal didn't come from them. They may have been exposed to it, but many times The goal comes from them on a deeper level, but practically it comes from someone else. They exposed to it. It may speak to their God-given purpose and destiny, but it has to get stirred up. They need help to get where they're going. That's why we have parents. That's why we have teachers. That's why we have administrators, counselors, coaches, so on and so forth. All right. Any questions? You all were very quiet in this live. You all were very quiet in this live. Mr. Hampton, what's up, sir? I had to go back and listen to this. Got a lot of parents on here. When I polish up, which won't take long, the online course on motivate the unmotivated child, helping us achieve academic excellence and become successful. I will let you know. I'll write these names down and I'll reach out to you, because there are some things that you know, but there are some things that you don't know. I can 100% guarantee you that when this course begins, and if you decide to be involved in it, there are going to be some things that you've never heard before. It's going to really be an aid and guide to you to help your children, your nieces, achieve academic success and become successful according to how they define success and what their short-term and long-term goals are. I promise you. And the end result for a parent is, our goal is to, if a young person wants to go to college, that's fine. If we want to define success in that terms from the beginning, that's fine. For a parent, that saves so much time, money, and effort. That's ideal. For a young person, if they choose to go to college, to be able to get a full ride scholarship. In my heart, that's the ultimate goal. If a young person wants to go to college, this course itself will help the parent and equip them to help their children get to that plateau. All right, because when we say academic excellence, we want to be able to bring academic scholarships into the hands of our young people, based on that. Yeah, it's time. It's time. And what I want to say is that I'm not knocking junior colleges, community colleges, but ideally, if you have the option, and if your child had the option to go to a larger university, then they would choose that. But because of academic issues and, connected to behavior, connected to comprehension, and, all other factors, then I'm not saying that the kids have to settle, but they have to, gradually climb, and the parent involvement can be rough, because most parents work. Some parents, a large percentage of parents are, working 9 to 5s. So let me get this to you as well. The online course, in order for it to be successful, the parent has to be willing to go through a process of transforming their lives. Because once again, you got to be a partaker of what's being taught in order to reinforce it in your household. All right, in order to reinforce it in your household, you got to be a partaker of it, meaning that you got to take hold of it. You got to witness it and experience it. It is most difficult for me, and DeWanna will be aware of this, and Lisa would be too, and Miss Johnson. It is most difficult for me, and I'm just being selfish at this point. It's most difficult for me to be on the phone with a parent, and I can't guarantee success for them. I can guarantee some form of improvement. There's a difference between improvement and success. Improvement can be temporary, meaning that your child, your son or your daughter behavior can revert back. But if I can guarantee success, that means that the young person went through the course, whether it was 5 weeks or 8 weeks, and the adult parent went through the course, whether it was 5 or 8 weeks. With the parent, if they go through the process, what they get taught can be reinforced in the child's life, the son and daughter's life, when they get home. All right, so I want you to think about that as we move forward. We'll release it soon, and talk with everybody about how it'll look and the investment price and all that. I'm reading Willie's statement. This good word environment, just like you can put a seed into a contaminated, unfertilized pot of dirt and expect it to grow into the plant or flower it was meant to grow. How on earth can you plant a man or a woman or children in a contaminated, unfertilized environment and expect them to grow in all that God has wanted them to grow into, sir? Yep, I totally agree. Let me get this last piece. And parents, I really want to admonish you to keep this in the forefront of your mind. And this is something that I know that you never heard before, so I'm gonna just give it to you. And this is a part of the course. This is like some deep stuff, but in agriculture, you have weeds. If anybody has had a garden, weeds are toxic to the overall wealth or the overall health of a garden. Weeds also compete for space. All right, weeds. Let me move my phone real fast, y'all. Let me put some paper moving, but it's okay. Weeds in agriculture. Weeds are troublesome. One thing that they do is they reduce crop yields by competing for water, light, soil, nutrients, and space. Now, when I'm teaching people on this type of level, I connect weeds, because you see weeds on the surface, true? You may see weeds on the surface. If I see weeds on the surface, that is a behavior that's coming from a young person that's competing for space in a classroom. When that does happen, that can be because of lack of attention at home or, lack of identity. I normally associate it to whatever environment that they find themselves in. They may lack attention, or they may want attention, or something may be going on internally where they're acting out. But I say this in closing, that weeds compete for space. Weeds in parallel is connected to a behavior that I see on the surface. In order for a weed to be obliterated or removed, you have to do what? What do you have to do to a weed in order for it to be gone forever? You definitely can't pull a weed up by the surface and think that you won't see it again. If you pull a weed up by the surface, it's going to resurface. If I address a surface behavior, it's going to resurface. Yep, you pull it out from the root. When you see a weed, in order for a weed to be extinguished from existence, you have to go to the root. I remember I was working with one of my friends a long time ago, and we were attempting to pull not a weed, but some type of plant out of the ground. And we had to water it. We had to dig. We had to use shovels. It took both of us. The roots were so deep. Roots normally grab onto dirt. I want you to hear this. Roots usually grab onto dirt. Dirt is symbolic of yesterday or who I was. An old man, old thinking. So I want you to ponder that as well. However, in closing, when I see a weed have surface behavior, Mr. Cage, I understand that there's a root to that. So in order for the service behavior to be gone, extinguished, I have to go to the root. All right. That's not textbook stuff. You may not ever find that concept expressed in that manner in connection to behavior in a school system, parent aspect, academically working with young people. I expect to see weeds. Weeds can also be symbolic of a plant. All right. Weeds can be symbolic of a weed can resemble wheatgrass, which is basically a plant, but it doesn't carry the healing properties that a weed or a wheatgrass does. So the behavior looks good on the outside because it's behavior modification according to the environment or the person. Meaning that I act good when Mr. Cage in the room. When he leave, then my pseudo behavior is taken off. Now you can see the real me. But when we go to the origin as to why that behavior is surfacing, then we have the opportunity to help the young person transform their life. All right. This is Mr. Cage. I appreciate you all for whoever stood on the length. You are awesome. Awesomer than the people that are awesome. We'll check back with you. Hopefully next time you all do a little bit more engaging. I would ask you for that. But if you got any questions about what was said or what was shared, or the online class that's coming soon, Motivating the Unmotivated Child, helping children, helping us achieve academic excellence and become successful, inbox me. Feel free to let me know. You'll have an awesome evening. Be great at who you are. Stay focused. Stay positive. Stay consistent. Allow God to do what He's going to do in your life, and allow people to reap the fruit of your consistency, your perseverance, and your obedience in God. Divorcing the past to advance in the future. We will talk with everybody soon. Have a good night.